Greetings everyone, Craig Hester here with R2AWatches.com, and thank you for joining us as we continue on our journey through all the watches and accessories that are available at R2AWatches.com. That's R, the number 2, the letter A, watches.com. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so before, so you get notifications for all of our new videos. And if you haven't joined the closed group on Facebook, Vostok-Europe Timepieces are VET. It is the best place to find out what's going on all the time with Vostok-Europe and the other watches at R2AWatches.com. Your home for Vostok-Europe, Trazer, Pramsia, Seiko, and many more. R2AWatches.com. Today we are talking about the Atomic Age watch from Vostok-Europe of Vilnius, Lithuania. If you are not familiar with Vostok-Europe, they are a boutique watch brand based in Vilnius, Lithuania. In their facility there, they build every watch custom from the ground up. They are all hand assembled by their team of 7 full-time watchmakers right there in Vilnius, Lithuania. Been there many times. In fact, going back in August for the 20th anniversary of Vostok-Europe, and definitely looking forward to that. We will definitely be getting some great videos when we go on that trip. Today, we are talking about the newest watch from Vostok-Europe in 2023. This is the Atomic Age. This one you're looking at here is the Sakharov edition from the Atomic Age collection. This is the first brand new collection from Vostok-Europe in quite some time. This is truly new. There's literally nothing in this watch except for maybe some inspirations from previous Vostok-Europes, but this is not like any other Vostok-Europe watch you've ever seen. I'm going to tell you guys, I will have one of these in my collection. I don't collect every single Vostok-Europe watch that's built. Some of them are not necessarily my personal taste, or for whatever reason, I have some that I pick out and I really like for myself, and I will have an Atomic Age in my collection. I think this is one of the coolest all-around watches that Vostok-Europe has ever built. I like so many things about the design and styling of this watch. So, like I said, we are talking about the Sakharov edition. Why is it called the Atomic Age? So, the inspiration for this watch is 3 famous and very successful nuclear physicists or people in the world of atomic energy from the 20th century. That is Sakharov, Fermi, and Robert Oppenheimer. Again, we are talking about Sakharov here in today's edition of the going over the Atomic Age. There will be videos about the Fermi and about the Oppenheimer, which we will also produce as well, but we wanted to talk about the Sakharov today. So the most important thing to go through here is understanding all of the specs about it. I am going to get back to a discussion of who Sakharov is, who Andrei Sakharov is, and why why he is great a name to have as an inspiration for this watch. But first, let's quickly go through some of the specs of this Atomic Age watch. I think the first thing to mention is it is a 48 millimeter watch. Vostok-Europe is still building watches that would be considered on the larger size of watches. If you're looking for something that's going to be diminutive or small on your wrist, this is probably not the watch for you. This is not a small timepiece by any means. It's about 17 millimeters thick. It's about 48 millimeters across. That being said, because of the way it's built with the slooping or rounded way that the lugs drop on the edge of the watch here. When I say the lugs, I'm talking about these parts here that hold the strap in place. I'm going to put this on my wrist and give you as much of a wrist shot as I can with this close up here. But you can see I have about a 7-inch wrist, and this watch fits quite comfortably on my wrist because of the way it's designed. The interconnected or integrated silicone strap creates a beautiful look and a smooth and elegant look on the wrist for such a big a sport timepiece. Now I'm going to quickly show you the 3 color executions of the Sakharov. We have the blue with the silver subdials. This is largely blue. Most of the coloring on here with just some pop of additional colors, especially with the silver subdials. It comes on the blue silicone. It is also going to come with a blue with white contrast stitching leather. And then there is a third other colored silicone strap that will also come with any execution from R2AWatches.com of the Atomic Age. We are including all 3. I don't have that to show here on the video, but it will be another color that would go with all 3 of them. The next color is the most traditional Vostok-Europe color. The reason almost every execution of Vostok-Europe watches comes with at least one that's red and black, because that is the official corporate colors of Vostok-Europe. So it's not surprising they would have a red and black version of the atomic age. It really pops with this one, especially with that vented super soft silicone strap that comes along with this one. That's what's going to come on the watch. It's going to come with this really great little changing tool, which I've got to lay my hands on to show it to you. Here we go. It's going to come with this really great little changing tool to be able to change the strap out. The red is going to come with an almost all black leather strap with a tiny pop of red contrast stitching to give you a nice pop of color. And then the third is the beige, or if you want to call it tan, whatever your preference is, sandstone. That's a nice. I love when we give these colors their fun names. Sandstone could be the name for this one. This is, if anybody cares, my personal favorite of the three Sakharovs, but I do like them all. There's one really great little feature of this. It costs a lot more, guys, to put the limited edition number on the side of the case. You know why? Because printing on the side of this case is a lot more difficult than printing on a flat back case back of a watch. It also means that you can't trade out a case back on a watch if you were to have some desire to do that. You know you're getting the integrity of this being the same limited edition number as the limited edition number that appears on the case back of the watch. So those are the three executions. So the next big thing I'm going to mention is the movement in this watch. All of the Sakharovs come with the VK64 Mecha Quarts movement. So I'm going to start this chronograph up, and you're going to see, now what's a chronograph? A chronograph gives you elapsed time function. Elapsed time function gives you the ability to measure an event. That's basically what it comes down to when you call a watch a chronograph. You can see that the large second hand, or the long second hand, is sweeping now. And if you look, this is a bicomplex or two complex chronograph, which means it has these two subdials. The one on the left is a 60-minute summing action. That means you can measure up to 60 minutes of an event. And then the one on the right is actually a 24-hour scale. That is giving you the military time. Now, that is, to be clear, not a secondary time zone on this watch. That's just giving you the military time. It is slaved to the 12-hour hand. So to be clear, when you are, this has a screw-in crown. This is a 200-meter water-resistant watch. Kind of digressing there for a second. But as you move the hands around, you're going to see that the main hour hand is going to go around twice every day, and the 24-hour hand is going to go around only once. So you're getting military time on this secondary subdial. But what is really important about the Mecha Quarts, about the VK64, you guys have heard me say this 100 times if you've heard me say it once. There are quartz movements and there are quartz movements, and they are not all made the same, and they are not all the same quality. This is a high-end quartz movement. In fact, the VK64 costs more than a lot of automatic mechanical movements on the market. But to be clear, I am talking about the cost of the movement itself. This is an expensive movement. Why? Because this is a hybrid movement between quartz and mechanical. There are actually jewels in this movement. I know you think of jewels as something to associate with mechanical watches, but in this case, there are actually jewels in this movement. Now, look how once I started the chronograph, and it almost sweeps like an automatic. That's part of the fact that this has mechanical parts in it. But here's the trick. Here's what's so cool. You stop the chronograph. When you reset it, it flies back into position like a mechanical would. This gives you the opportunity to quickly start measuring another event if you would like to. Now, I'm going to quickly show you an Almaz that has the 6S11 chronograph movement in it. Now, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with the 6S11. It also has mechanical parts. It is also an amazing movement. It also costs more than most mechanical movements. But there is one big difference. Watch when I start the chronograph on this watch, on this Almaz, which is another Vostok-Europe. You can see it almost sweeps like an automatic. But when you stop the chronograph and reset it, it actually goes all the way around in this sweep fashion and then resets. Those 2 or 3 seconds could be critical if you then wanted to quickly measure another event, which is why the Mecha Quarts movement is such a cool part of this particular watch. The next big feature I want to focus on is the tritium tubes. Now, if you're not familiar with tritium tubes, these are laser sealed glass tubes made by a company called MB Microtech of Bern, Switzerland. They actually are the company that makes Tracer watches, which we also carry. These tubes, they are laser sealed glass tubes filled with a substance called tritium. That tritium constantly agitates the luminous material inside the tubes, and it gives you constant illumination because of that. You do not have to charge it up in the sun like you do a regular superluminova watch, and then it just, you know how it can fade in just a couple of hours? This is going to stay illuminated all the time. Now I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like when the lights are off. And there you go. Beautiful example of great tritium on this fantastic tritium tube watch by Vostok-Europe. It has these stand-up tritium tubes. Look how when I turn it on the edge, you can see the stand-up tubes. Now that's really important. Vostok-Europe is the only company I'm aware of that actually has stand-up tritium tubes. And you can see they're actually in these circular candle holders that have a reflective surface around the edge. So if you take regular tritium on most regular tritium watches, the tritium tube, I'm going to show you like with this with the UV light I use here, it's going to lay flat on the dial. You're going to be blocking about 40% of the light that's emitted by that tube because it lays flat on the dial. When you look at the stand-up tritium tubes, which are what are in the atomic age, it gives you 360-degree illumination, so it's going to give you 20 to 40% more illumination than if these laid flat. Obviously, there are also tritium tubes on the hour and minute marker. And look at these beautifully sculpted hands, just another fantastic part of this watch. You'll notice here too, this has a screw-in crown. All of the atomic ages have a screw-in crown. They have a automatic helium release valve, which I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that in this particular video. We have talked about helium release valves a lot in other videos, but that is an important feature of a great dive watch. But because this is 200-meter water resistance, it meets the requirement for water resistance of a professional grade dive watch. So this is a serious watch. We also like to point out, you do not have to be a diver to wear a diver. Dive watches being 200-meter water resistance or greater is really showing about the quality of construction. That's the most important thing that particular feature tells you, because you have to have fantastic seals. You have to have a well-made watch to meet 200-meter water resistance quality. This is a two-part case. You can see the upper part and the lower part. To be able to build a two-part case like this, but still get 200-meter water resistance is pretty amazing. That says a lot about the quality of construction on this particular timepiece. There you have the VE etched into the crown. Also, one of the things that adds value to this watch is the fact that the limited edition number is on the side of the case. That means that you know it's going to be married properly to the number that's on the back of the case. You can't just switch out case backs on these watches. It costs a lot more money to do this kind of engraving on the side of a case than it does to simply print on the flat case back. And look at the isotope design on the back, celebrating the fact that this is the atomic age. All right, so I'm going to back off of features for just a minute. I'll come back to that. I want to quickly talk about Andrei Sakharov, who is the inspiration for this. There are three scientists that were inspirations for the atomic age. Again, that is Fermi, Oppenheimer, and Sakharov. In this particular case, we are talking about Andrei Sakharov. He was a Soviet nuclear physicist and a dissident, and also a Nobel laureate, and an advocate for disarmament, even though, and peace and human rights. Despite being the chief designer of the Soviet thermonuclear weapons program, Sakharov later championed civil liberties and civil reforms in the Soviet Union, which earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1975. This is an amazing person to have as an example and a inspiration for a watch. And then again, the other two, which we will talk about in subsequent videos, are Ferme and Oppenheimer, which have their own, and they have different movements in those watches. Now, some other features. I already mentioned it is a screw-in crown. It does come with 3 straps total. It's also going to come with this amazing dry box, which I'm going to show you right here. It is the dry box that we refer to as the Energia case. That is a 4-watch holder. You actually would convert the inside of the case, and it will allow it to hold up to 4 watches. It's going to come designed to hold the 1 watch, and then can be converted by removing these interior parts. There are hidden pillows in here, which make this where you can have 4 watches as a travel case. This is made in the same facility as Pelican cases. Now listen when I close this. Wow. That is just an example of how great the quality is of this. This is about 12 by 12 inches in size and about 6 inches thick. This is some serious packaging that comes with this watch. So the packaging alone is just one of the more fantastic things that make this a great timepiece from Vostok-Europe. It does have, again, the sweep second hand on the chronograph. Now, the VK64 does not have a constant second hand. So you'll notice, you may look down and you see that there's no movement, and you might think, oh, what does that mean? Is there something wrong? No, there's absolutely nothing wrong. That is simply the way the VK64 is designed. So some other specs. It is a K1 mineral crystal that gives you the best of both worlds. It's right between a sapphire and a mineral. So you get nearly the shatter resistance of sapphire, and you get nearly the scratch resistance of sapphire and nearly the shatter resistance of mineral. K1 mineral crystal is your best option for a true sport watch, which the Atomic Age absolutely is. It is a screw-in case back. I'll again repeat myself again. It is a screw-in crown. It does have the stand-up candle holder tritium tubes, engraved serial number. The lug width is 25 on this watch. Again, will come with multiple straps and the engraving of the Vostok-Europe logo. So again, everybody, this is the Sakharov. It's going to come in the blue, that beautiful rich blue, the sandstone, and the red and black. Tritium tube technology. Amazing, amazing shaped case. I love the octagonal look on this case. It is so cool. The way the tritium tubes are set up, all of the details on this are just fantastic. This is the first really new watch from Vostok-Europe in quite some time. You don't want to miss out on it. And pretty soon you will be seeing videos about the Ferme and the Oppenheimer versions of the Atomic Age. As Vostok-Europe says, we are all living in the Atomic Age. I'm Craig Hester with R2AWatches.com. Be sure and join us again soon. Hit like and subscribe. Join Vostok-Europe Timepieces on Facebook. And until next time, keep watching.